Welcome. You're listening to the Keeping Ashland Healthy podcast, a podcast production of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Ashland County, Ohio. Thanks for joining us. And welcome back to another episode of Keeping Ashland Healthy. My name is David Ross. I'm the executive director here at the Mental Health and Recovery Board, and in the studio with me is Elise Schrader.
Hello, David. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Great. Yeah.
The weather is nice and cool. See, I like this mid-70s. This is good for me. Not all that hot, sweaty weather.
It's been perfect.
It has been perfect. On today's episode, we are going to talk through an article that our very own Elise has recently published in the Source, right? Ashland Source?
Yes, Ashland Source. The title is Finding the Light in Small Things.
Finding the light in small things. And this will be something Elise and I hope to do on a regular basis. Every time she has a new article dropping in the Source, we'd like to do an episode about it and maybe go a little bit more in depth about what the article's getting at and maybe a little bit behind what Elise's motivation was, her inspiration was to write the piece. So this one, they might be hearing this term for the first time. You talk about a glimmer. How is it different from a trigger?
I love the word glimmer. So glimmer is actually the opposite of a trigger. So a trigger happens when you have maybe a smell or a moment that reminds you of a painful time in your life or a bad experience or something negative. So a glimmer is quite the opposite. So they're small, often overlooked moments and that signal safety to your nervous system.
So safety versus maybe danger or pain or something uncomfortable. I love that. Well, why is our nervous system like constantly scanning for both danger and safety and maybe what the role the glimmer plays in helping us feel more grounded?
Yeah, so most of us at some point in our life have experienced some traumatic event, whether it's a car accident or maybe you had a bully in school, divorce, moving. I mean, there's so many different things that can be traumatic for our brains and our life experiences. So our brain teaches us to kind of look out for future
protect
trauma.
ourselves.
So we often get triggered, but that's why glimmers are so important to really focus on something that is safe for you.
And that's the grounding. And because it's a safe, that can help us if we're struggling, if this glimmer, and we'll talk about some here in a bit, that can help us feel more grounded. Well, I think some people assume they need like a major life change to improve their well-being. But why do you think small moments have such a powerful impact on mental health? Because it doesn't, right? Am I right? At least it doesn't always take like a major life change. You talk about in your piece here, sometimes all it takes is a small moment.
Yes. And that's what really attracted me to this concept is it is small and it's also already braided or woven into our everyday lives.
Yes.
It's just a matter of noticing
them. Why do you think we miss them?
We are so busy and we're staring at screens and we have schedules and we're multitasking. But if we really slow down and just notice something of, I really wanted that cup of coffee. And when I just made that cup of coffee, it smelled so good. Yeah. That's a glimmer. How simple is that?
Yeah. So, and again, that was kind of my question. You were getting at it for someone like has a lot of responsibilities, whether maybe that's caregiving, financial stress, grief, health concerns. Yeah, how can noticing glimmers provide relief without minimizing those real challenges? So those real challenges they're real. I mean, but how can noticing the glimmers maybe relieve some of that without minimizing it, I guess?
Yeah. So when we make noticing glimmers a habit, we are just gently, automatically teaching our nervous systems and our brains just to notice those things and slow down and calm down. And it's okay. And it tells your body and your nervous system, I'm okay in this moment. And it's healing.
Yeah. And it isn't minimizing at all.
Right.
And it can bring relief even if the challenges are real, serious challenges.
Everyone has things going on in their life, whether it's financial struggles or caregiving or you're in the sandwich generation.
Right. Well, I love that it's it's a positive focus, right? We're all about that here at the Mental Health and Recovery Board. We want to focus on those positive things in our lives, in our communities, in our worlds. So maybe share some examples of common glimmers that people in Ashland County might experience in their everyday routine. So we've been talking about this glimmer. What do we even mean? What are they talking about? What would be some examples? Maybe?
What is a glimmer? So the neat part is glimmers can be different for everybody.
All right.
But it can be, like I mentioned, a smell of a cup of coffee, or you're busy working on your laptop, but your dog snuggles in at your feet and you just notice that, like, oh, my buddy's right here.
Right.
That's a glimmer. When you get up in the morning and the sun's shining and you think, oh my gosh, what a beautiful sunrise.
Yeah.
That's a glimmer. David, you and I were actually driving earlier this morning somewhere, and I said, oh, look how pretty the fountain in front of Ashland University looks. And I'm like, hey, that was a glimmer.
Yeah.
And the more often you do that, the more often, like I said, it becomes kind of a habit.
Yes. Yeah. And that is a positive, healthy habit to build.
Yes.
We certainly can build the other kind. So.
Yeah. And there's a sentence I wrote in here that I love.
Oh, yes.
Glimmers are what safety feels like in the smallest possible doses.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's safety in just a very small, easy dose.
Oh, I like that. And again, you say in the article, it's not about forced gratitude or pretending everything is fine. Maybe why is that distinction so important?
Yeah. So sometimes when we talk about, let's find something good or smile or whatever, it can feel inauthentic. So it's not pretending that things aren't going on, but our nervous systems needs moments of rest, and that's what glimmer offers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I guess you're getting at my next question, which are you mentioned this, how do we train ourselves? How do we get in the habit of noticing? How can we make that a more intentional throughout our day? Should we just maybe have a list, or what are any ideas on how we can make it, help our listeners begin to train themselves to notice glimmers more intentionally throughout the day?
Yeah, so it doesn't take a whole lot of effort, to be honest. Just even over the next week or two, I invite you, keep just kind of a loose mental list of glimmers that you come across. And I say in the article, this shouldn't be an exercise on like forced gratitude, but simply just a practice. And over time, when you notice things more often and often, that's when it becomes a habit, and quietly and gently, somewhat of an antidote to the weight of everyday life.
Yeah, I like that. And then I think maybe Elise maybe we can both share any of our own personal glimmers that consistently help us maybe slow down, reset, or reconnect with what matters most. Did you have anything in mind that does that for you, like on a regular basis?
I do. So I'm a people person.
Yeah.
I'm a social worker. That's kind of what brought me to the field. So I love eye contact with people and smiles.
Okay.
So I love even strangers in public or at the grocery store, eye contact and just like a smile.
Yeah.
It just feels genuine. And in everyday life, I get that, with my daughter, my husband, family members, friends. I come to work and I get that. And for me, those are consistent glimmers that I love.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, you mentioned coffee, so that is certainly one for me. But I pair it with I've got a morning routine of reading several books.
Yeah.
So, that anticipation, of the coffee and then the actual reading, that's something I really look forward to. I find that very, relaxing and definitely helps me. Even though I'm reading specific things at a specific time, and it is like a nice reset, but also a way to start the day. So for me, that's what comes to mind.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And then when you do notice a glimmer, you can also notice what happens in your body.
Yeah.
You kind of pause internally. It's almost an internal pause.
Yeah.
You might breathe a little deeper.
Yeah.
And boom, you're helping your body and your brain
Yeah.
right then.
Yeah, a friend of mine is like really into like wildflowers, and I have to admit, I've seen some of the boxes of these flowers, and it's like the colors and the array and the variety. Oh, it is really quite striking. I can see where that for somebody would be a glimmer. Sunrises,
Yes.
I've noticed those. Especially you get the clouds and the reds, and that's certainly my house. Faces towards the east, so I those are nice. Those are nice, I have to admit. Yeah.
Yeah. And as a parent, my daughter, that just reminded me, my daughter loves clouds.
Yeah.
So she often notices clouds. And I like to help her lean into that a little bit about ooh, what do you like about that one? Is it the color? Is it the fluffiness?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's something we can teach our children too.
So the article, Finding the Light in Small Things. I will read the opening sentence. There is a word making its way through conversations about mental health lately, one that feels less like a clinical term and more like a gentle invitation. That word is glimmer. So, audience, our very own Elise Schrader has written a wonderful piece in the Source, Ashland Source. I encourage you to read it, and any takeaways, anything for our audience. If there was one thing from today's conversation, what would you want them to take away, at least from our conversation about your article, Glimmers?
Just that everybody can help their own mental health
Yes.
in just very simple, easy ways.
I love that. And audience, hopefully you notice that that's free. Noticing Glimmers
We love
is
free.
We like free, low cost. You can do this, and you can build these healthy habits, as Elise said. So one of the things the Mental Health and Recovery Board, we really try to emphasize is that you don't need to be involved necessarily in our formal systems of care, like our Appleseed, our Arcata, Catholic Charities. We love our formal partnerships, but oftentimes, noticing glimmers doesn't require a counselor or therapist. You can do this, audience. Anybody can notice glimmers. So I encourage you to not only read the article, but put into practice what Elise has been talking about today. Thank you, Elise.
Thanks, David.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Keeping Ashland Healthy podcast. The podcast is a production of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Ashland County, Ohio. You can reach the board by calling 419-281-3139. Please remember that the board funds a local 24/7 crisis line through Appleseed Community Mental Health Center. It can be reached by calling 419-289-6111. That's 419-289-6111. Until next time, please join us in Keeping Ashland Healthy.